maximize cash value, you want to set it up in what's called a 75-25 policy. 75% cash, 25% base. Okay? This is where the numbers and the intricacies come in, where you're overfunding the policy $15,000 in cash. And so I'm not sure what the first thing I would look at with your policy is what's the base? What is this minimum amount that you're paying into your policy? And are you overfunding it at all? Because how long ago did you get it?
A year or two.
Okay. So if you're only paying the base, there's probably going to be not a lot of cash value. And PUA. And so the reason that we design policies really well is because when you overfund your policy, which is you put more cash in than you need to, just like overpaying for your grocery store. This is all you need to pay. And this is the maximum they allow you to pay to keep it tax-free. They say if you put too much cash in, now you're just taking advantage of the system. They made a law in 1988 after the interest rates were really high. Because people were scheming the system. They were putting millions of dollars into their policies when interest rates at the bank were 16% and interest rates in policies were 5 or 8%. They could take money out quick, cheap, put it in a CD and get guaranteed 16%. And they said, you're not allowed to do that anymore. I agree. The IRS said no. Yeah. Right? So they passed the law in 1988. Started in 1986, they started the Tax Reform Act under Ronald Reagan, and the part about life insurance came in 88. And they say that due to this way that we set this policy up, whatever you put above this base, anything you put above 5K, you can leverage about 90% of. So a typical HELOC, you can get what, like 60, 70% of your equity?
85.
Huh?
85.
85 max?
If it's a primary.
If it's a primary, okay.
You have to have like really good credit.
A really good credit,
Yeah.
okay. But on average, probably 70%?
On average, 75.
75, cool.
Yeah.
Right, and so here in this policy, you're able to borrow about 90%. It's like 89.3%, right? 90%, let's call it.
Wow.
Which means that you can borrow, if you have 15 grand a month in your overfunding, you can borrow 13,500 a month, right? Times 12 is 162,000. Okay, every single year. And you can use that money for whatever you want. Now you can go spend $10,000 on your bills, so let's subtract the 120K. That leaves you $42,000, right? Which is almost 4 grand. That's actually $3,500 a month exactly. $3,500 a month that you can go invest. The other $5,000 here is being invested into the insurance company. And who owns that insurance company?
We do.
We do. And who profits from them profiting? We do. And so is it good that you give your money to the insurance company?
Yes.
Right? Because the opportunity cost is you give it to who?
The bank.
Or the financing companies, right? You either give it to the bank or the finance company. You either pay cash or you finance. And in either situation, are you the owner?
No.
Right? So you want to be the owner, and so this is something that you can put your money into that you own. You have flexibility built in, number 2, so you don't have to put 15 grand in, because we talked about life happening, right? What happens if your car breaks down, you get a flat tire, you have a baby, you get married, you lose your job, right? There's a million things that could happen in your life. The roof, you need to fix your roof, whatever. You have the ability to go anywhere between $5,000 and $20,000 on a monthly basis. You have liquidity as a priority. It's structured to where it's emphasizing cash value. A lot of insurance agents only fund the base because it's a lot easier. Is it easier to sell something that's $5,000 or $20,000? $5,000. Is it easier to tell somebody that they should put $5,000 of their leftover money into something or put all their money into something? Yeah, just what's left over here. Just throw a little bit in here. Right, and that's where who does that all the time? Who says, oh, after whatever's left over, if you invest a little bit over here every single month, eventually you'll be successful? Huh? Huh? Who said? Wall Street?
Yeah.
Wall Street. Put a little bit in your 401k, dollar cost average,
You're
put
right.
$1,000 a month into your retirement account.
Yeah, because they want to live the American dream, the middle class.
Correct. Yep. And so this allows you to not have that, and this creates long-term sustainability, something that you can commit to for decades, because it's a lifestyle, not just something that you're going to buy. It's a lifetime thing. It is a big decision. A lot of people say this is a big decision. I say I agree. You creating generational wealth for your family and deciding to be the person in your family that started it is a big decision. It's not a small decision that Rockefeller decided to create Standard Oil. It's a big decision. It's a big decision to fund oil for the entire country. It's a big decision to invest and change the education system. It's a big decision to start your own business. It's a big decision to get into banking, to stop thinking the way that you used to think and make a decision to change that. It is a big decision. It's something that you have to decide to do. But somebody's got to do it. Our parents didn't do it, or we wouldn't be sitting here right now. Step 5 is to establish banking policies. You need an actual policy for your policy. Okay? When I say a policy for your policy, I don't mean a life insurance policy for your life insurance policy. I mean a written set of rules and regulations for your bank. What are you going to do? What are you going to not do? What are you going to invest in? What are you not going to invest in? We're finalizing our trust right now, and it's hard to come up with them. What I'm thinking about, these are cool thoughts to think, is a trust is good for 360 years in the state of Florida. That's about 12 to 14 generations. So I have to think about what rules do I want to set today that my great grandchildren are still going to want to follow. How am I supposed to predict what ChatGPT and AI are going to do, or crypto? How am I supposed to predict who's the world power at the time? According to Dalio, that means that the US would have failed, and we would have had another country that failed too. And again, I don't mean failed by we're not here anymore. I mean that we're not the power anymore. Like the UK became not the power. Dutch and the UK. Two great countries to visit, great countries to go to. They don't have any say in world power. They're controlled by China, Russia, and the United States. What to finance first, right? Are we financing vehicles, business equipment, marketing investments, real estate down payments, strategic opportunities? What are we not doing? We're not pure consumption items. I'm not buying fun stuff first. I'm not buying lifestyle inflation purchases, things that inflate my lifestyle. What's one of the biggest things that inflate your lifestyle immediately? A car is maybe number 2. What's number 1? Yeah, moving your home. Right? When you move, you get married, you have kids, now you need a bigger, right? So then you get a bigger house and you have a bigger payment. Right? And the challenge is when that happens, what usually didn't get that much bigger? Your income, usually. Right? Again, just talking usually. Speculative gambles, right? Would have been a good bet, but I wouldn't bet that the Miami Hurricanes go to the championship in the beginning of the year. This year wasn't a good bet, but I still wouldn't bet that the Eagles are going to go to the Super Bowl. Low return uses. I wouldn't use that money to go buy a bond I'm going to get 3% on. I'm not going to borrow at 5% and put it in a bond at 3%. I'm not going to use it for one-time emotional purchases immediately, although I did use mine to use for our wedding, and that will be a one-time emotional purchase. Nash's critical rule, charge yourself the same or better terms than a bank would charge, right? Because now you're overpaying at the grocery store. Overpaying at the grocery store. Charge your bank more than you would elsewhere. This is not about getting a deal for yourself. A lot of people say I'm going to get an FHA loan, live in a 4-unit building, and rent out the first unit to myself and live in it so I can have cheaper rent. You should actually do the opposite. You should charge yourself double the rent of everybody else so that when the next person next to you if I charge myself $2,000 and I charge you $1,000, then the next person that comes and asks to move in, they're going to ask what the average rent is, and now I can say, well, I pay $2,000 and I can charge him $2,100 because of inflation. And then it increases the value of my building of my grocery store. So if you want to write down in your notes or in your notebook, what's the first thing that you want to finance through your system? Assuming that you walked out the door today and you already had a whole banking system set up, and if you do already have one set up, what's the next thing that you want to finance? What is the next thing that you want to finance through your banking system? Write down the next thing I'm going to finance through my system is blank. Right? You already have your policy, assuming that it's designed properly, there's cash value. If you had an opportunity, what thing do you need? A vehicle, business equipment, marketing, real estate? I know we're talking about purchasing another car over there, right, Feliciano? Right, we're going to need another car at some point in the next, who knows how long?
Hey,
Right?
hopefully she keeps rocking for
She's on life support. Right? I don't know. Could be like my grandfather who pretty much died and then lived for 3 more years. So who knows what can happen?